Yeah, for the handful of people now that maybe are listening.
Yeah.
Like,
Right?
we might have more than one. I
I
don't
think we
know.
might.
I
It's
don't know.
exciting.
I don't think it's been
Uh,
confirmed.
No
but
way to know.
just Google bad Neil Gaiman
Oh yeah, I'll put it in the show notes
show notes.
because we fucking have them,
That feels so professional.
doesn't it?
Right?
Doesn't it? And like we even have translations, not translations,
Transcriptions
Transcriptions.
because
Wow.
fucking
for the
headliner
hearing impaired.
does that for you, and it even sort of knows who's talking,
That's
which
That's
is insane
impressive.
to me.
that is
Yeah.
insane.
Well, it knows that a different person is talking. It doesn't know. I have to tell it, oh, that's me. That one's Chris, but
Got
still, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So,
Considering that would have to be done by, you, 10 years ago.
yeah.
So,
And I ain't got the time for that shit.
right.
Hello and welcome back to RTFB. This is Travis, and today other Chris, and I are jumping into our new book. And I don't know if you've checked the calendar recently, but Halloween is rapidly approaching. And I don't know if you know this yet, but the aforementioned book we are prepping to jump into has a very special anniversary this year. It's 125th, as does one of the movie adaptations. It's 30th. And if neither of those hints nor the thumbnail on this episode haven't already tipped you off, let me confirm we are reading the vampire novel this season, Bram Stoker's Dracula. I'm sure you're itching to start talking about this classic spoopy book, so let's get back to my conversation with the Chris's already in progress.
Sounds about right.
Yep.
What you should be doing.
Yeah, it's cool.
Do you ever play Greedfall?
Mm-mm.
Nope.
Okay.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a game. It came out maybe 3 years ago now. I got it when it was kind of new on my PlayStation, and I did the intro and never came back to it. But I was thinking about it the other day. I'm like, maybe I should try it again. But I don't know. People liked it.
Yeah.
It's kind of a alternate world, 17th century.
Hmm.
You start out in your European town, and you learn your shit, and then you get on a ship to go to the New World. So, I don't know.
That's pretty crazy.
Then it's a fucking free for all.
Yeah.
Where does
I
the
picked
greed
some
come in?
magic user. I think you can be very capitalistic. I'm not sure.
Well,
So
makes
I
sense.
never got far enough to find out.
That makes a lot of sense.
Why else does one go form a colony in the 17th century in another part of the globe?
Riches.
Yeah, resource
Mercantilism.
extraction. Yeah.
Riches and bitches.
Exactly. That was their slogan. Riches and bitches.
The
That's
Dutch
that's
East India
actually
Trading
that's
Company.
actually on the sign coming into St. Charles.
I'm sure it is now. It should be.
Oh man. Random thing. I saw someone post on Facebook a couple of weeks ago. Like some shitty listicle from Riverfront Times, like the high school you went to and what it says about you.
Mm-hmm.
And of note was that I was trying to remember. France South Central was like, you were the most important child growing up, and that's everyone's problem now.
I wonder what it would say about Chaminade if it has it
Chaminade
in
just
there.
said, "You're rich." I'm like, that's kind of give up. I'm like, come on.
Yeah,
That's too easy because there's a lot of
come
us
on.
that aren't.
Yeah,
Come on.
But really, of note was that was the only Francis House school that made the list. So
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
maybe we're justified in thinking how special we are. Like
Of
Maybe.
course.
North wasn't there.
Wow.
Hell, South wasn't there. But
Well, I mean, what North would say about you is that you were either pregnant or you got somebody pregnant.
Oh, really?
or we're doing a lot of drugs
Yeah.
actively.
But
Yeah.
could still kind of get an okay education.
And Howell says that you might glow in the dark now.
You're pretty close to what was that place?
The Weldon Springs site.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
What was it
Yeah.
though? Times Beach.
that's somewhere. I thought that was more down by Six Flags.
Yeah, Times Beach is further away.
Yeah.
My uncle knew the guy that did that sprayed all that shit. So
Oh my god.
back in the day,
What a,
Wow. Wow.
didn't know him when I was a kid anymore, but he knew him before, like back before that shit happened.
Claim
so.
to fame.
Yep.
Nice.
I think he knew him from his early years in business stuff. That guy ran his own
business
company,
of
of course.
spraying toxic
Well,
chemicals. and
no,
stuff?
my uncle, because my uncle was probably involved in some like young business leaders things, because he, with his last trust disbursement, see, I'm not rich, I tell you. When my grandparents got all their money, they set it up for some for their retirement, and then they set up stuff for my mom and my uncle, so that's why their college was paid for. And then they got another final amount when they hit like 21 or something, so they could either use that for like grad school like my mom did, or my uncle used his and started a business, which he was doing when I was born. He ran a cookware, he had a series of cookware stores in St. Louis, but he started in the 70s with one. They were all called Chef's Bazaar.
Oh, I was going to ask if it was Sur la Table.
No, unfortunately, no. Chef's Bazaar. He had like 4 or 5 locations by the time I was really little, but was aware of them. But he kind of wound that down in the late 80s and sold them all off by the early 90s.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was one of the first tenants in the outdoor mall that's off of Maryland, near Maryland Heights, that used to have like Casa Gallardo in it.
Westport?
Westport, that's it. Thanks, Chris.
Oh, yeah.
He was one of the original tenants in Westport, and he was right by the first Casa Gallardo there.
Wow.
So, like, he knew Ray Gallardo from, like, hanging out outside their stores.
So, like, you're
shit
St.
like
Louis
that.
famous is what we're learning. Like,
Yeah.
Like, low-key, a little bit, yeah.
Neat.
the first Casa Gallardo.
So,
You're basically best friends with that guy.
basically.
Is
But,
that
yeah.
still around? Can I still go to Casa Gallardo?
No, it went out of business, like, 10 years ago.
It's
That-
because they couldn't get their cookware anywhere.
Apparently.
Fucking
They
Chef's
managed to
Choice
go,
or whatever
like,
went down.
20 years after my uncle's store closed, but...
Where am I going to get fried ice cream?
I don't know, honestly. I was really sad when I couldn't find Casa Gallardo's anymore, because I
Doesn't
really
El
liked them.
Maguey have fried ice cream?
They might.
I don't know.
El Maguey?
It's
So maybe they knew
fucking
each
not
other.
the same though.
No.
Right,
Probably not as
it's
good.
not. So maybe they all knew each other from those young business guys days. I don't know.
Probably.
I never found out, but that seemed like a business to have based out of Maryland Heights.
Yeah.
So go spray shit for dirt control, for dust control.
Yep.
You know.
That actually came up when I was in Canada for my family reunion thing, because one of the cemeteries that we went to visit was like basically just the corner of a farm field, and it was surrounded by all of these gravel roads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Like
these
it's
like
dusty.
giant trucks just kept going by, like kicking up all of this dust.
Oh,
Yeah.
And somebody was saying something about like, oh man, they should really like spray out here to keep that from like,
I mean, you still do that in rural areas, but you have to be a lot more careful on what you spray with.
right,
So
Maybe not the best idea.
yeah,
Yeah.
they used to do it in St. Louis too, back in the 19th century, because we all had dirt roads all over the place.
Yeah.
That was pretty bad if they didn't like at least wet them down every now and then. So then
No,
the
it's
20th
fine.
century, like, hey, let's spray oil on this shit.
No,
Kind
it's
of oil
fine.
to like bind the dirt together.
It's all
That
fine.
became dioxin for Times Beach. So
whoops,
whoopsies.
Whoops.
Yep.
our bad.
Our bad. Yeah, I was actually just talking to Simon today about Times Beach because we were talking about Boy Scout camp and the random ghost stories that they came up with to scare us to not go outside of our tent at night by ourselves. And different things. Mr. J.
Yeah,
That seemed wrong, I guess, because I've been watching too much Harley Quinn. But Mr. J would say about people that lived near Times Beach that had the weird radioactive foreheads that you
Yeah.
could see in the dark. So if you ever saw them out
That's
there,
fun.
go back to your tent.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
that's a
then
fun
there
one.
was, and then because of that, there was that kid who just like wouldn't leave the tent to
Just
pee.
pooped his pants.
Yeah, I was like, what are you gonna do if you have to go to the bathroom?
That's exactly what we were talking about. How he just peed out the front of the tent.
Just peed out the front door.
Regardless of if it was on an incline or not. Which is a bad idea. Just so
Yep.
Don't.
So, scout leaders, don't tell your kids stories like that well to keep them from going to the bathroom. Like,
Yeah.
come up with something else.
Just tell them to bring a friend. It's fine. Like, we get it. Don't have to terrify them.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of ghost stories,
Oh,
Yeah.
we're going to talk about some vampires.
Mm-hmm.
Vampires.
Dracula.
Vampire.
The OG culture story for our society.
Vampires. So, like, why are vampires, like, so successful? Why do you think? That's what I wanted for our, like, intro
'cause they're
question.
sexy. and
As
immortal.
predators?
I mean, in general, like, why have they stuck around so long? Everyone's still interested. Like, yeah, okay, I'll watch this movie about teenage vampires in fucking Seattle.
Because, like, I think if you go back to even the original, right? If you go back to Dracula, because I mean, it's sort of part of the Gothic romantic movement, right?
Right.
And so there was a lot of shit about, like, Charles Darwin, for example, was like right around this time,
Yeah.
And so people were thinking a lot about the human relationship to other animals,
Uh-huh.
and basically how, like, knowing this stuff about evolution and how we're just like part of the thing instead of being a special separate thing,
Yeah.
like, kind of freaked some people out.
Yeah.
And basically what I've read is that you can look at Dracula as kind of a response to that this is about, like, the animal nature of humans
Mm-hmm.
and how that's a scary thing.
Right.
Like that we're closer to this than we think we are. And this is just sort of one aspect of our animal nature. This Dracula is kind of people's fears about, like, their own animal nature, I guess.
Okay.
And then I guess the reason that they keep coming back really is just that there is that kind of appeal to
Yep.
I mean, even looking at, like, fucking boy bands or whatever, like, there's always the one that's like, oh, he's the bad boy,
Right.
Ooh,
Yeah,
like
they're
all
sexy
the
and
all the
dangerous.
girls are into that one, yeah, because they're sexy and
Risky.
dangerous, and
Yeah.
like that's vampires, right? They're
Yeah.
they're fucking predators.
Right.
And there's for whatever reason something hot about that.
Uh-huh.
It's like, and
They're
you could
just-
either become a victim or, if you're lucky, become one of them.
Yeah.
Like, playing with fire there.
But
Yeah.
I think that's, part of the appeal is that, like, it's this wild thing.
Yeah. Like you said, this wild predatory human that
Yeah.
is not like the rest of us.
It's like fucking, Johnny Depp in a leather jacket on a motorcycle is what
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. I think that's a good point.
I think I dated myself with that.
It's going to
Yeah.
happen more often than we think going forward.
Yeah.
And Chris, I think you made a good point too. Like the idea that not only is this person dangerous and sexy, but I could be that way too.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they decide to turn me because I'm like the most plain Jane girl in Forks, but I smell really good and falls in love with me, I could become a vampire too, and that would be pretty sweet. Because then I get to
Right.
do all the killing and live forever.
Live forever. Yeah.
Yeah. I've also wondered if something about the, like, I guess it's more modern, this kind of, like, aspect of it that's like a criticism of the aristocracy, like the same family that lives forever and has all the money and just kind of comes down when they want to and feed on local peasants.
I mean, that might not be a new...
It's probably pretty valid for when it came out, too.
Yeah.
Maybe even a little more so, because...
I mean, the guy was a count, you know?
Yeah.
True.
And there's really not a lot anymore of aristocrats owning, like, farming tenancies that they lease out to peasants. Like there was back then, where they could, like, literally bleed you dry for money.
Right.
You know, because you were their tenant and had no other choice. And if you had a bad year, you still had to pay them what they were owed.
Right.
You know, that's not really... And that was still kind of starting to change a little bit back when this came out, too. But that was still very much a living memory relationship, depending on who your lord was.
Right.
And where you were. Like, the English would say, oh, well, ours haven't really been like that in a long time, but they could be. Mm-hmm. Especially as the changes brought by industrialization were happening, and the lords were like, well, I got to keep making money out of this shit. Because I got to keep living my lifestyle. And all my people are, like, moving to towns or want more money or something, so I'm just going to... Right. You either pay me more or you're out and I get new people, or I sell your home and you have nowhere to go type of deal.
Right.
And if you were Irish, it was like totally just like exploitative. So
yeah.
They probably very much saw their English-backed aristocrats as vampires.
Yeah.
So sucking the life out of them.
Right. Literally sucking the life out of them.
Yep. Destroying their culture too, all that kind of stuff.
Yep. And I won't make a comment about Queen Elizabeth here, but...
No, well, she's presided
just know that I
over,
could
like,
have.
The end of all that, like, what was left of it was pretty much gone by the time she became the queen.
I mean, I still saw a lot of people kind of celebrating, but, you know. I don't think it was so much her, just the monarchy in general, but... Yeah.
You know,
you Irish folks.
Yeah, I heard Irish Twitter was kind of shut off for a little while from the rest of the world. Like, really, people, I get it. You have a problem with the British.
Right.
You haven't been British in 100 years. But I get it. There's a bad relationship there. I'm like, just kind of remember, she did come see you all to try to make amends a little bit.
Yeah.
But she can't give you back that time.
Yeah.
You know, and she did preside over a lot of decolonization. And she did stuff. They were talking about when she went to, like, Ghana or something in the 60s.
Yeah.
And how it was a really big deal that she treated their new prime minister. She was, like, signing the handover papers as an equal and, like, danced with him on a dance floor.
Ooh.
Because, like, A was a colonial and B was a black guy. And she was like, hey, we're equal here. We're going to have a good time. She's like, I don't give a shit about what all the people back home think, because a lot of my prime ministers 60s? Are racist. Yeah. In the
Jesus.
60s. So,
and then she had Princess Diana killed.
No.
That
was the That was just the French.
That was just the French.
The fucking French.
Ugh.
So
the worst.
She learned from that too.
Mon Dieu.
How to be nicer to
Espèce salope.
Make sure that you're nice to your daughters-in-law, even if they're no longer officially your daughters-in-law.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Anyway. So that's cool. Do you think fashion sense has anything to do with vampires being so cool?
Sometimes, and that's why I think they lampoon it so well on What We Do in the Shadows. So,
yeah,
that show was great.
They always had the classic look, right?
Yeah,
they're never still wearing Jinko jeans because they got turned in the '90s. Like
that would be fucking great.
Yeah, I feel like even if they do, they still have to start dressing like a Victorian upper class person. It's required.
There was a comedian who had a thing about like how come all ghosts are from like the 1800s,
right?
Like where are the ghosts from like 2 weeks ago? Where's like the fucking caveman ghost? You know, like
cavemen have all moved on by now. They don't have any other unfinished business.
Well, there's an interesting show. We made an American version.
Oh yeah, Ghosts.
Yeah, there's a British one, and the British one, there's a Neanderthal ghost.
Yeah, I know. That one's so great.
Yeah.
Highly recommend that show to anybody, by the way.
The British version? The American version? Both?
Honestly, I watched a little bit of the American one, and I wasn't feeling it at first.
Yeah.
But it kind of grew on me.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah, because it's it's a different set of ghosts because it's America.
Right. Right. Well, my mother-in-law recommended it to me as very funny, but she also recommended The Big Bang Theory to me as like, they're just like you. I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah. I get that a lot too.
I mean, they're not like you guys, but I do personally love The Big Bang Theory.
It's fine.
I accept it's stereotypes, and that's what it is.
It's fine. The actors are good.
When it first started, somebody told me that it was blackface for nerds.
Oh,
jeez.
No.
Maybe the less said about that.
Like, don't
lump
me in with them.
Yeah.
But no, Ghosts you should check out, especially the British one.
Okay.
But the American one, I will say, is fine.
Okay. Okay, good.
The couple, I think, in the British one is much more
better.
likable.
Yeah.
I'll take
that does help kind of answer where are all the other ghosts. Turns out they're around. They're just not on the right show or something.
Yeah, I guess. I got that cemetery right there, and like,
yep.
Where the fuck are all our ghosts?
They're there. You just can't see them.
Yeah.
Gotta hit.
You're close enough to other stuff that they're like. I always went to the Trailhead Brewery or whatever when I was alive. So
yeah, they're there.
I don't have to bother you in your
they're
house.
There. We just can't see them, which is always kind of the point of ghost stories.
They just manifest as e-girls for Instagram posts.
Yeah.
But
I think they're always like 19th century ghosts because that was the height of spiritualism and like that gothic romanticism that really kind of brought them to the fore. And it's just been a fun cultural thing, writing genre since then. But
you can't
be
a ghost.
You can only become a Ouija board. You can only become a ghost by using a Ouija board while you're alive.
Sorry.
Apparently, yeah.
Didn't you ever see Paranormal Activity?
Right.
It's all spelled out right there. It's bad news.
Yep.
So I learned some stuff about Bram Stoker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I learned he was born in 1847 and died in 1912.
Okay.
And I learned that he was an Irish author and theater critic.
Oh.
So first of all, his name is Abraham Stoker. I've never heard of Bram as short for Abraham.
I have.
It was, I think, more than.
Good old Mosey and Bram from the Bible.
There was that was it the Elephant Song when we were kids?
Oh, Sharon Lewis and Bram?
Exactly.
Yeah. See, I just thought the name was Bram, like Bran.
That's such that's too weird of a name to be
It is. It just doesn't track anymore.
Bram.
Yeah, no. It would be Abraham. Bram. They just call him that.
Abram. I guess it just
Abraham.
Just collapses in on itself. I'm Abraham.
Just call him Avram or Avraham. That works.
Also, I didn't realize he was Irish. So I refrain of doing an Irish accent, but
he's always sold as like a UK author, but it's important for him to actually be recognized as Irish. So kind of a double sharing of a legacy there.
Yeah,
like Oscar Wilde.
Just like the British, just claiming the Irish as their own. Well, whenever they feel like it.
They did for like 800 years.
He was a lover of traveling. Though of note, he never once visited the Carpathian Mountains nor Bran Castle, so he's just kind of making this all up.
That's a shame. He could have hopped on a train and gone to the Austro-Hungarian Empire.
You just, you went to the library back then, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of times he did.
Wasn't that what they did for Outlander? The lady just went and studied Scotland. Is like, okay, here we go.
I feel like I got a good enough grasp of this now.
Yeah,
Don't know.
I know what it was like.
It's fine.
He went to Cruden Bay instead, and the coastal town of Whitby, which I guess is where most of the book takes place. But
so is he more like a middle class traveler?
I guess.
Went and saw like the stuff right there, like they did back then.
Yeah. He was.
He drove his caravan down to the.
Right?
Yeah.
I also found a thing that you can even travel a course that his great-grandnephew set up to discover his version of Dracula.
Ooh.
Oh, that's neat.
Also, by the way, this guy, Bram Stoker, has his own Dracula book, Pat. And you can, like, read that, too. Like, just FYI.
Mm.
Just cashing on his great-grand uncle's name, I guess.
Like you do.
Bram.
Yeah.
Bram, though, was the third of 7 children, born in the north side of Dublin. They note that he was bedridden with some unknown disease when he started school, but was able to recover and was even an excellent athlete at Trinity College.
That's
for
good.
him.
He went
Because
to
where
the
else would you
fancy
go?
Irish school.
Where else would
It's
you
like
go?
going to Cambridge, but for Ireland
Yeah.
back then.
Exactly.
Going to Oxford.
He, for a while, was a theater critic for the Dublin Evening Mail. And it was noted, I noted that it was not exactly a profession held in very high esteem at the time,
Mm-hmm.
but because his critiques were so well written, he gained some notoriety from that. He wrote something like 6 other books before Dracula, and 8 more afterwards, as well as some short story collections, but he never seemed to go back to vampires and Dracula.
Yeah.
Except
I
for
guess he
a
felt
short
he had-
story that was published after he died. So,
I
someone
guess he
else.
felt he did all he needed to do with that and wanted to
Yeah.
not be pigeonholed, but I was going to say I don't know of any of his other works, so...
Yeah. I hadn't really heard of
What
them
do you
either,
do?
but I scanned through them, and it does seem to be like some supernatural stuff, horror
Mhm.
stuff, but not like vampires and stuff. Ghosts and whatnot.
Yeah.
And mummies in one case, so
Oh, that's
Mummies.
interesting.
yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah. So, there's even still an annual Bram Stoker festival in Dublin. All sorts of
Oh,
stuff.
cool.
Like
Yeah.
books and film and what they call street and outdoor events,
Oh, that's
Oh.
fun.
which
Probably
I don't know the
costumes
Fun
difference
for the
between them.
whole family.
Yeah.
Well, it'd probably open up shops and costumes, recitations,
Breakdancing.
maybe you have some favorite foods or drinks. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Seems like a thing to do.
Vampire
all year.
breakdancing.
We should do that some year. Go to Ireland
Yeah.
for the Bram Stoker
Just
Festival.
all go to Dublin.
Let's
for-
go.
Yeah.
We'll talk to everyone about this podcast and be like, oh, okay.
And they'll be like, cool, and we'll suddenly just have all these Irish fans.
Yeah.
Like, we want to listen to some Americans talk about stuff. Like,
Yeah.
great, we're your guys.
They'll love to hear our opinion on their country.
Yeah. What little we know, other than my
Yeah.
grandparents went there in the 60s. And my great-great-grandparents on Grandma's side are from there.
Yeah.
And if only Grandma had claimed her Irish citizenship, then I could have it too. But oh well.
Come on, Grandma.
I've never
I'm waiting
been
for them to
Ireland.
extend it to great-great-grandparents from great-grandparents. So
hmm I've never been to Ireland, but I want to.
I haven't either.
I've never been there, but I hear it's terrible.
Don't listen to him, Ireland. Don't listen
Just a
to
bunch
him.
of drunk people
You hear me? Terrible.
just having whiskey and Guinness.
They've got a little more.
Yeah,
than
that sounds like the worst time.
They've got a lovely
God.
Celtic rooted culture. That
They're
gave
all-
us whiskey.
They're all buskers and drunks. There's no in between.
See, what happened was when your
I
great
read
great
James
cousins
Joyce.
came to America, people here said shit about him, and it stuck around Ireland. You know this by now, so yeah. Or you read James Joyce.
Yep. Isn't there something like a festival, like a marathon reading of Ulysses?
Yeah,
Also every
Bloomsday.
year?
Bloomsday,
like
I
that.
think. I think they did
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah. Anyway. So this book, right?
Yep.
Uh-huh.
This published in 1897. So this is its 125th anniversary.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
So I think this is the first book that's more than 100 years old that we're going to do.
Yeah,
Oh,
It's like an ancient text now.
I say it might be hard to. hard to read.
5 years old.
Might not
Jesus
be though.
Christ.
Nah, I wouldn't expect something from them to be super
Well,
difficult to read.
it could be a little more verbose, but I get really surprised the difference to me between something from 1847 to 1897 is pretty big in writing style from my experience than from 1897 till maybe now.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm going to be intrigued to kind of see how I feel about it.
Yeah. Well, and the style of the book, it's like epistolary, basically. It's like a bunch
Yeah.
of different letters and diary
Is it?
entries. So
Okay. I
there's
haven't
not
done
like
it
a,
yet, so.
a single main character to follow.
I
mean,
can
except
tell
for
that
Dracula.
you studied French. Because of your use of the word epistolary.
No, it could be Bible. There were
That's kind of
epistolary.
my general assumption.
Paul.
From my exposures to that.
Anyway. So yeah, like it is the quintessential vampire book, although it was already drawing on a lot of other folklore from the time, from Romania.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some controversy about who really inspired him to do Dracula. They think it was maybe this Hungarian Jewish writer named Armin Vambary, who I guess he was friends with, and they assumed was telling him about all the different Romanian folklore.
Well, that was under the Kingdom of Hungary, so they had lots of exposure for centuries.
Yeah, although some scholars say now that maybe that guy was just very outspoken against Russia. Some people also think it maybe had something to do with Vlad Tepes the Third, like Vlad the Impaler.
Vlad Tepish.
Yeah. Or maybe it was some lady named Elizabeth Bathory, who I'd never heard of before, but...
Oh, really?
I have.
Another Hungarian noblewoman and alleged serial killer.
Yep.
She liked to bathe in blood, if I remember correctly.
There's a Russian movie I saw on, I think, maybe Hulu or something that's about her.
Yeah.
So...
The note I had from her was that she and 4 of her servants was accused of torturing and killing hundreds of girls and women between 1590 and 1610. So,
supposedly so she could bathe in the blood of virgins to maintain her beauty and youth.
Yeah. Is that what I need to be doing?
Do what you gotta do,
Yeah.
Apparently.
I'm getting these, bags under my eyes, so, how many virgins do I need?
I'm just waiting. No,
I don't know. I've got an eye thing from Trader Joe's I'm going to try out. So
yeah.
See how that works.
There's probably something from Korea that's got virgin's blood in it.
Yeah.
Probably.
Do they have to be killed in the extracting of their blood? Can they just donate it?
No, I think they could just donate it these days.
Yeah. Just get a pint from Carter's or whatever.
Yeah. just do the now classic vampire bit and run a series of blood banks.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Or if they develop True Blood. Or whatever that was, which was fake blood.
There was also that teen vampire movie where the kid went to the butcher and got pig's blood.
That'll work.
Yeah.
And then, it's not quite as good.
And then that movie had the great line when he snapped open a can and said, "This blood's for you."
Was that the little vampire with Jonathan Lipnicki?
No. No.
Which one was it then? I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my god. It's like I said, it's like a teen vampire movie from the 80s, and I cannot.
It's not Lost Boys?
No, it's
That's
not
the one I can remember. Yeah, so they don't have that line in that, as I recall.
No.
But it would have fit.
This one is much sillier and much bonerier.
Okay. I know what you mean.
One's bitten, that one? That was more adult, I think. I don't think that was kids, but...
Oh, God. I have to look it up. I will let you know by the end of the stream here.
Okay. Perfect.
Sounds good.
Perfect. But yeah, so they don't really know who was inspired of him. I'm thinking he probably just pulled it out of his ass.
Yeah, I think he just listened to some folktales and just made a new thing out of them.
Yeah. There's a note that he probably chose Dracula as the name because he thought it meant devil in Romanian, and that seems most likely. He just made some shit up, slapped a name on it. Now
a new creation at the time.
Now it's the version of vampires everyone knows.
Right.
So,
wasn't this also one of the first really popular books of that genre?
Yeah.
Really, when you think about it, because you had Frankenstein earlier in the century, but there's not a whole lot of that in the 19th century. But the ones that come out are really good because they're genre establishing.
Right.
So.
Yeah. They note that it did really well on first publication.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, it cost 6 shillings.
Nice.
And they even note they had to change the title right last minute, and so the cover was really shitty.
Mm-hmm.
He had called it The Undead, and so Dracula's a way better title.
Yeah.
They said that the main criticism of it, if people weren't fans, was that it was too scary.
Okay, I can see that.
Too scary.
Which I guess stories like that. Yeah.
People getting murdered and like eaten.
6 shillings. I could buy that.
People flying into your room at night and killing you. That's pretty scary.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That is when you've never heard of it before.
Yeah.
Keep your windows closed.
Yep.
Just don't invite them in. Like, it's so easy. It's literally the easiest thing. Just, you can't come in.
I'll go back in time and take my future coins for them. They can... Here you go. Here's 6 shillings.
Yep.
Like, this says this crown says 1951. I'm like, yep.
Don't question
It
it.
does. But this other one's Victoria. She's still the queen, right? Here you go.
Yeah.
This 1 shilling to make it 6. You're fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Like, this guy's just her grandson. Or
It's
great-grandson.
totally fine.
You don't know him yet. He's not been born.
You don't know him.
Like-
He goes to another school.
From Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in Canada.
So the movie was My Best Friend is a Vampire.
Oh,
That sounds
okay.
definitely 80s and teen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like, but I'm a cheerleader.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the vampire version of that.
So yeah, since the book is public domain, like it's been adapted into film basically all the time.
Yep.
And thanks to your
Wikipedia
suggestion, I got
says
it from public
over 30 times, but it feels like it's got to be like 50 or 60.
Yeah, just most of them aren't good.
Yeah, I mean, like 30 times just for Christopher Lee.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Nosferatu was the first, in quotes, adaptation, but it wasn't authorized, and so Bram Stoker's widow sued them.
Oh, okay.
So that's why it's Nosferatu and not Dracula.
I was just saying, is that why it was
Interesting.
Nosferatu?
Yeah, they just made up a random name, I guess, but they note that its characters have made appearances in virtually all media.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm willing to say it probably is all media. Like, what media has not had a Dracula story in it?
I don't know yet. They all have in some
Yeah.
form or another.
They've had a cartoon duck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Duckula.
Yeah.
Duckula.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mhm.
there's even
remember
been
it
a
had a-
breakfast cereal.
Had a pretty good
Yeah,
theme
breakfast
song.
cereal.
It's been a breakfast cereal, a video game, like, yeah.
Yep.
I'm just
Movie,
saying, what else could it be
show,
made into?
radio play,
Comic books,
comic
Yeah.
books. Yep.
Party City costumes, like,
Exactly. I was
Everything.
Dracula one year for Halloween, like 2nd grade.
yeah,
Hey, and now it's a podcast.
yeah.
Yeah.
no. I'm sure we're the first.
I'm sure we're not the
I'm
first.
sure no one has ever talked about this.
Vampires
Never
or
before.
Dracula, ever.
But if we're lucky,
But
maybe
yeah.
we'll be the first one that our friends in, what was it, Zambia,
Yeah.
will
Yeah,
get to hear
Zambia.
about.
I don't know. I don't think people in Zambia fuck with vampires. They're not cool with that.
We heart you, Zambia, if you're still listening.
You guys get a pass. Like, you don't have to listen if you're not into it. But I think that's probably why it's the quintessential vampire story. Is it was in public domain, and so everyone's just like, yeah, Dracula.
Yeah, we know about
Put him
it.
in there. Put him in there. We need
Yep.
the Belmonts to fight somebody, so get Dracula. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I've never read this book. Have you guys read this book?
Nope.
Long time ago.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Huh. I'm
I've
impressed.
never read it. I
You know,
don't read much late 19th century fiction, but I
Yeah.
probably should.
Yeah.
I never took that Gothic literature course in college, so.
Right. It's never really interested me that much until we had the possibility of doing the movie that we're gonna do for the podcast. So the movie we're choosing out of the like 70 million versions is the Bram Stoker's Dracula,
The
the
From
1992.
the 90s. Yeah.
Which this is its 30th anniversary this year. So
Oh wow.
Oh, hey, we're just hitting all the right dates.
double
now.
anniversary.
Yeah.
Crazy, right?
Awesome.
hmm
Oh.
I remember all the hype when it came out.
I do too, and I like that they had to put Bram Stoker's on front to be like, okay, it's not a shitty version, okay? Like,
Right,
Yeah.
it's a good one.
we're gonna treat it well when we adapt
Come
this.
on,
so,
guys. Yeah.
Right.
Get
yeah.
it together.
So, have you seen the movie though? I haven't seen it before.
No.
Again, a long time ago.
Yeah,
I've seen snippets here and there, but I've never watched the whole thing, so I don't know the whole context.
yeah,
Most of my vampire movies were made up of like Interview with the Vampire and
Right.
a few others here and there. So
right. Yeah, it's one of the many things I only know about because of Simpsons. So,
hmm
like, I recognize, yeah, they're parodying that movie. So, I expect a couple of things, but
right.
Yeah.
like a super happy fun slide,
That'll totally be in there.
trying to
I
escape
hope
his castle.
so. Yeah. I hope you won't be disappointed.
Right. Me too.
I probably shouldn't, but when am I going to be here again? But yeah, so this is the Francis Ford Coppola directed movie featuring the Gary Oldman and Winona Ryder and RTFB alum Anthony Hopkins
Yep.
and
A lot
Keanu
of good
Reeves
folks. Mhm.
and an allegedly historically bad English accent.
Oh, yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
He's not known for his accents.
Don't worry about that too much.
Yeah, it's fine.
The special effects will make up for it.
He does his best, damn it.
He does.
Yeah.
Not everyone can do it.
Just remember that he's John Wick and
Exactly.
don't play him.
I won't.
And he's a really, really nice guy.
He is.
Exactly.
So he deserves, some leeway on accents.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He definitely does.
Apparently, it was Winona Ryder who brought the script to Francis Ford Coppola's attention.
Oh,
And she's like, you got to make this because it's awesome.
really?
Yeah.
And
I
also,
didn't know
she
that.
wants to continue to be all of the teen boys' goth fantasy.
Which
Right.
she could still achieve in the 90s.
Yeah.
She can do it now.
She
Yeah,
could.
that's true.
Yeah.
Maybe kind of on the milfy side, but that's perfectly
Hey,
acceptable.
it's fine. They
Yeah.
got all
She's-
sorts of niches
she's
for this
age
stuff.
appropriate.
Yeah. Come on.
It's all good.
It's
Mhm.
fine. It's all fine. So the movie had a budget of $40 million.
I feel like that was a lot for back then.
It seems like a lot for back then. And it grossed something like $215 million in the US, so
I think it did well then. In
wildly
1992.
successful in my opinion. Like,
Yeah.
They noted that it opened at number 1 the first weekend, but then was quickly replaced by Home Alone 2: Lost in New York.
When did it
Oh,
open?
no.
What,
November 13th.
Yeah.
Oh, they were just a little too late then.
Yeah.
Just
It
barely.
would have done better if they could have gotten it out a few weeks earlier.
For the
They
Halloween.
probably wanted to,
Yeah.
but couldn't do it.
They had to do like ADR for Keanu's accent.
Either that or like
Probably.
I don't know. There was some other movie that they didn't want to compete against,
Yeah.
Just to be safe.
which is weird.
Yeah.
I saw Home Alone 2 at some kid's birthday party. So.
Which would have been a way better movie if someone had gotten their blood sucked in it.
Yeah.
If someone swooped in and like bit him
I
on
don't know,
the neck.
9-year-old me thought that Talk Boy was pretty cool.
I had one.
Lucky. I
Yeah,
wanted one.
it might still be around here somewhere. Actually,
Never
You
mind
should
the
be
fact
recording
you could
this on that.
yeah,
Never mind the
Send me
fact,
your
kids,
tape.
you could still buy one in like 2000.
yeah,
They had them on the toy shelves for a long time.
yeah. I don't
They need
even
a
know if
digital
I have a
version.
blank tape I could put in it.
I'm
That's
sure
a
you can
good
find it
question.
somewhere.
Yeah,
You got at least one. Didn't you have to get a bunch of shit from your parents' house recently?
yeah, I did. You know,
Not one blank cassette in there?
I bet there's probably some recorded cassettes in there.
Yeah, see?
Well, there's always the internet to find it. Somewhere in the world, there's a blank set.
I'm sure Amazon has it for cheap.
Or
Hopefully.
very expensive.
Yeah, one or the
Or
other.
for very expensive, yeah. Could be. But I'm excited, because I hear this movie is like bonkers.
Yeah,
Mhm.
And I'm here for it.
that's my recollection of it.
I've heard the same about it all these years.
Yeah. So,
I'll just
here's
stick
the
with
questions,
touchpad.
guys. This
Okay.
is a long-ass book. It's like 400 pages.
Oh shit!
Oh,
Like a lot.
didn't look.
It'll be
that
at least
long.
4 readings for me then.
Well, that's what I was going to ask, is how many do you want to split this into?
It's hard for
don't
me to do
care.
more than 100 pages at a time, to be honest.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
can do a little more, but it's hard for me. So
Okay. So let's do like 3 sections, 'cause that'll put us right, well, at least in the version I've got, puts us right around like 130 each section.
Okay.
So then our first one, am I on the right thing? Stand by. Okay, yeah. So then the first reading assignment would take us up to chapter 11.
Okay.
So read chapter 10 and don't read chapter 11. And in my version,
Okey-dokey.
that's what, up to page 142, but it starts on page 7, so.
Yep.
Anyway, do you guys have anything else that's good you want to mention? Or if not, something that's currently good, another cool Dracula vampire movie you'd like to throw out there?
Trying to watch TV shows.
Yeah.
Got them House of Dragons tonight.
Ooh.
That'll be
How's that so
okay.
far?
It's fine.
A
Like,
ringing
it's-
endorsement.
It's
It's
Games
fine.
of Thrones without being Games of Thrones because it's 300 years before then,
Mm-hmm.
almost. So it's okay. It's much more like this specific Targaryen group of Targaryens trying to deal with their shit, as well as your average medieval, politics.
Yeah.
And then there's like stuff on the periphery that happens too. So,
Yeah.
but it's only a couple episodes in,
Right.
so we'll see how it develops.
Hopefully it's
okay
good.
though. Yeah, it's not bad so far.
I'm willing to give it some time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like I need to watch it right now.
It's pretty probably safe with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
There's
cool.
other shows, but I'm trying to watch Sandman because we finally got Netflix
Yeah.
back.
Sandman is good.
But so far, I've only managed to do one episode.
Well, the show takes a little while, I think. And that's the cool thing about the show is it takes its time. But
Mm-hmm.
in general, like the first, I don't know, 3 or 4 episodes where they're setting up shop, basically, I felt like it took me a little bit to get into. But
Mm-hmm.
after that, when they kind of hit its stride, so.
Okay.
Basically, when you
That's
see
good to
the
know.
devil, you're in good company. So,
Cool.
yeah, but I liked it. Other Chris?
What have I even been doing?
I know, I'm right there with you.
Yeah. I watched an episode of Joy from Red Velvet is also an actress, and she's
Yeah.
been in some K-dramas, and she
Yeah.
had one start recently that I think is called Once Upon a Small Town.
Oh, okay.
And that's on Netflix.
Yeah.
I watched the first episode of that, and it's like really charming and adorable.
Is it like
Nice.
it's a drama?
So it's like it's a K-drama. So I mean,
Okay.
if you've seen K-drama, like you kind of know what to expect, I guess. Like
Right.
just the tone of it, I guess, is K-drama. I don't know how else to really explain that.
But it's not like a reality show. It's not like
No.
following her around doing stuff.
No.
Although we would watch that.
Yeah. I indeed have watched that. But no, it follows this guy who's a veterinarian who all of a sudden gets like this emergency phone call from his grandfather,
Mm-hmm.
or from his like an emergency call about his grandfather, and he drives all the way from Seoul back to like the small town where he grew up,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
only to find that he's not at home, and he's like really worried, and he gets like apprehended like somewhat violently by the police down there for like
Yeah.
stalking around the house.
Mm.
And when he comes to afterwards, they like clear everything up. Basically, Grandpa and Grandma like are going on a cruise around the world,
Yeah.
and they just needed their veterinarian grandson to watch after their small town veterinary clinic while they're gone.
Okay.
So
Sounds very Korean.
So it has a lot of like sort of I don't know, like Doc Hollywood kind of
Yeah.
feel to it, I guess, where it's like, oh, here's the city boy who's in the country and he's out of his element, and like, he's a vet who's used to dealing with people's like toy dogs and stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and now he's out there having to deal with like horny goats. So like, and the Joy plays the cop that he meets on the first day,
Uh-huh.
and she's just kind of like friends with everybody in the town, and it's basically like oh, they don't get along because he's like really stuck up. Yeah, but you
Yeah.
know where this is going.
Right.
Yeah.
They
So anyway,
they never speak to each other again.
exactly.
They remain hostile enemies.
Yeah, he ends up going out with one of the neighbor girls or something. That's how it's going to go.
He just does the stay at the veterinarian clinic and goes back home and never speaks to them again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 12 episodes, but he's only in that town for the first one. It's really
So
weird.
So weird. Yeah. Well, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
It's on Netflix.
It's on the Netflix.
Nice.
And it's coming out like a few episodes a week.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really have
By the
anything.
time this is up, all of it'll be on Netflix.
Yeah, for sure. I was going to say, I don't really have anything.
Cool.
I haven't done shit.
That's fine. That's fair.
I haven't done shit.
You made the numbers go up.
I did make numbers go up instead.
There you go.
No, I mean, the only thing I'm really watching right now is She-Hulk, because that's about as much commitment as I can give to TV right now. So
yeah,
it's fun.
It's fun. I wasn't really into it the first couple of episodes, but this latest one I thought was really good.
Mm-hmm.
With the dropout magician from Carmitage, Donnie Blaze, who gets in trouble using his sling ring, sending Madison with 2 N's and a Y, but not where you think.
But not where you think. Yeah.
Into a demon portal. Yeah. I thought that was really
liked
good.
that one. Yeah.
So I'm hoping the rest of it's more like that.
Me too.
But it's been pretty good.
Yep.
Just the CGI is a little wonky, but you know.
Yeah, it is. I'm
What do you
surprised by it,
expect?
but you get used
What
to
are
it.
you gonna do? You can't like you
It's,
saw the
you know,
Incredible Hulk in the 70s, right? Like
Yeah. It's
even the
still
non
better than
CGI looked wonky, so
that. Yeah.
just part of the character, I guess.
You've seen you know, like any CW show.
Yes.
TV in general, yeah.
Yeah.
Weekly TV. It's the worst. Just the worst.
Ugh.
Yeah. All right. Any other notes that we need to get on the recording here?
Nope,
I
nothing
don't
for
think
me.
so.
No. All right. Then I'm going to hit stop.
Stop, boo. Stop.
Bam. Okay. That was our session for today. Reminder for homework if you want to read along. First assignment is to read the first 10 chapters. Also, a heads up. I know this is out of order, but Fathom Events is doing screenings of Bram Stoker's Dracula on October 23rd and 27th. So if you're the type that likes to watch movies on the big screen, don't miss this opportunity. You have my permission, just in this case, to maybe watch the movie first, but just this time. As always, when I listen back to these episodes during editing, I tend to have second thoughts about things I said in the heat of the moment. So let's get into some on second thoughts. I don't know why I feel like I've had to clarify this before, but I actually am a fan of the French. I can't speak your language with a convincing accent, but you guys are chouette in my book. I kid because I love. And like if nothing else, introducing chocolatine to the world gives you a free pass forever. Today's episode is in discussions to be adapted into a breakfast cereal, with thanks to Chris Ham, other Chris Jacobson. It was edited by me, Travis Rowe, and was sponsored by no one in particular. Until next time, keep fucking reading. I'm trying to click over, but my mouse is dead, so hold on. Bear with me here.
Batteries.
Fucking batteries.
I remember when
And
mice
a
didn't
mouse.
die.
I know. Well, I have a wired one, but I don't like using
Yeah, I was
it.
gonna say my mouse has this magic thing that just plugs into the computer.
Pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Well, since I have a Mac, like the version of this mouse that plugs in, you can't use it when it's plugged in.
Yeah, which I always thought was kind of weird.
Like, let's put it at the bottom
like-
of the thing.
Come
Directly.
on, Apple.
Well, it wouldn't look cool.
Oh well.
Ugh.
Like, I've meant to get an Apple mouse, and I never did. But maybe with the next
Probably
laptop,
better off.
I'll get one.
Hey, I got a mouse again. Okay.
There you go. There's
So
just
here's-
issues like that. I was like, oh,